Hello, everybody. This is Ray, and this is the Bearded Men of Real Estate podcast, back after a long time away. I feel like it's been a long time away, but it's only been actually a couple of weeks. I feel
but it does. I miss you, and I miss everyone commenting on our stuff, and I just miss these guys. By the way, my name's Dan. Hi.
Hi, Dan. Yeah, so Hi. We have missed a lot of the participation, the interaction, that kind of stuff. So I think the first week we just couldn't get our schedules together. The second week, my computer just totally stopped working, which is an iMac, which Dan's already given me crap for. So but because it was an Apple, I was able to just take it to them, and they just fixed it. So it's the first computer issue I've had since 2010 when I switched from to Apple. So I'm not going to complain too much. It took them like 3 days. They figured it out. So we're back up now. Hey, J Marks. If you are watching this show, please comment. We love to see the comments. We will also put them up there just like Jay, especially if you compliment the hosts.
Not going to be much coming my way.
No. So it's funny. I do have new glasses, and they're clear. I got them from Warby Parker. My wife still thinks, she's like, nah, they look to her like safety goggles, but yeah, and they kind of do, I guess. But I like them, except everybody's been commenting on them. And one of the reasons you get clear glasses because they're less noticeable, but I feel like it's only highlighting the fact that I have glasses. So
that's exactly why I comment. I'm like, oh, hey. And he's like, yeah, they're supposed to be so no one comments on them, and everyone's commenting on them.
And you know what's funny? Everybody always asks me if I actually need glasses. I'm like, yes, I actually need glasses. But if you do have a beard, this is a pro tip for those of you who do have a beard and no glasses. If you are kind of balding like I am and you have a beard, if you don't have glasses, you are in danger of looking like a biker. Because look at this. Don't I look so mean right now? Like, that's so mean. I put the glasses on. I'm just a really smart bearded fella.
Yeah, he's a very sensitive bearded man.
Very sensitive, just like a big teddy bear.
Yeah, it's the Ray we all know and love. But he takes him off. It's like, oh gosh, where's your Harley, man?
Let's say, and look at that. Yeah, Dan looks awesome. Looks like he's lost some weight.
And I actually have. I'm glad you noticed, Jay. Thank you very much.
How much weight have you lost?
20 pounds.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Over when? Like over a year, or was that over?
It's been pretty quick, actually. And honestly, I cut back on beer. That's it.
Wow. That means you were drinking a serious amount of carbs.
Yeah, I mean, because we all know I love my beer, so it's been, I wouldn't say difficult. It's just been interesting to cut back, but also, and I've stepped up the walks and the hikes and the stuff as well. Yep. So it's been a combo of things, but like the biggest one, my eating habits changed a little bit. You know, I've gone to mostly a seed-based diet where I only eat seeds.
Seeds and nuts, legumes.
Yeah. I eat seeds, nuts, and the legumes are okay. But so that changed, but then it's been mostly the beer, and it just kind of slimmed everything down. So that's great. And he's the second person that's kind of noticed, and I appreciate that, especially because he hasn't seen me in a while. So that's kind of cool. Right. I appreciate that. I really do.
I thought your beard had just gotten longer because, it kind of elongates the face.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. She said super tough, only when I stop smiling.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And Sam we have to do the
makes me more approachable.
We have to do the prerequisite. Hey, Melanie.
Hey. Okay, so this one's going to be relatively short. We're not going to do a deep dive at the end. Instead, we're going to have a little short conversation about each one of the articles that we go through. We only have 4 articles on doc, but they're all pretty big news stories. There wasn't a lot of little news while we were gone. There actually wasn't much. So without further ado, we will jump right into the headlines. Thanks very much. We've promised each other to actually get transitions and such for the new year.
We have.
That's our New Year's resolution. All right. Home builder confidence, it's a highest level in 18 years in December. So confidence among the nation's home builders jumped unexpectedly in December on expectations for a stronger economy. A monthly reading of home builder sentiment rose 5 points to 74. This is the highest reading since 1999. 50 is the line between positive and negative sentiment in the National Association of Home Builders Index. November's reading was revised lower by 1 point. So sentiment stood at 69 in December of 2016. So we are 5 points above where we were year over year.
That is pretty great, because I think we did do this stat on our last one in November, and it was revised down, but that's just a revision. I mean, but this gives a lot of confidence. I mean, 5 points is a pretty big jump. That's pretty great.
Yeah, and I would like to brag that I think we called this. I think if you replayed episode 4 or 5, we were talking about home builder sentiment, and one of the things we commented, because they said that it was when the tax proposal was first proposed and how home builder sentiment went up, except the National Home Builders Association came out against the tax proposal, but it did show a sign of a better economy, and we said that we thought it would go even higher towards the end of the year. So there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, and it's also because I think we're going to get up in your next story that you're going to read, Ray. I think it maybe has a little bit to do with interest rates and buyers kind of wanting to get into the market before it's too late, kind of thing. But we can get back into that when you go into your second one there.
An increased low supply, but yeah.
Yes. So FHA no longer insure new mortgages with PACE loans. So this is a great thing. I'll get into that after a second. The Federal Housing Administration will stop insuring new mortgages on homes with PACE loans, a type of controversial financing used to fund energy-efficient home improvements. So solar panels, HVAC systems, windows, all that stuff. I think it covers all that. The announcement on December 7th, we did this a couple weeks ago when we put this story in here, but it's been a couple weeks now. The announcement follows criticism from consumer groups that too many borrowers have taken out unaffordable loans for solar panels and other projects after contractors misrepresented how the financing works. And that's, in my opinion, or not in my opinion, in my history with them, that is the case with every single one of them.
So this was a loan that would fund a home with improvements that were green improvements, I guess you could say. And so them now no longer funding this is a good thing. So my question to you, Dan, is why do you hate the earth?
I don't hate the earth. I love the earth. Here's what I hate. I hate living in markets where people can't afford their homes.
Very good. So you're choosing people.
Well, if they're already maxed out on what they can afford, and then they're like, no, this improvement's going to cost $10,000, but you need a $20,000 loan. What? And they have to be able to afford the entire $20,000 loan. It's not just whatever they use of it, or they have to afford because a lot of people out here, when they're in the lower ranges, they're maxing their budget out. Every single penny counts. And when you add on, people get told that all these improvements are going to help you long term. You're going to spend less on energy, and that's great, but you still have to pay off this whatever loan it is that's on top of your home loan. And I've never heard of any realtor I know that's done one of these that's had a good experience. Never.
This is just not even something that exists or that we talk about in our market. So this is something I'm completely unfamiliar with, except for just in the fact that government subsidies tend to inflate prices on things. So it is interesting that is having that impact to homes in your market too.
Well, and it's not necessarily if you get a construction loan, on a $200,000 house that's totally dilapidated and run down, you're getting a loan based on what it could be worth in whatever market's in, right?
Right.
But this isn't like that. If you maxed out and the house is worth $350 and you pay $350, but then you get a $20,000 loan on top of that, you're now underwater essentially, and you can already not afford the home. And that's just how it affects the actual buyers or homeowners after they buy it. I've shown homes with this on there, and remember, when you try to sell that, whoever's buying the home has to qualify for that loan as well.
The additional,
so their own loan and this or this PACE loan or whatever on top of that, they have to qualify for 2 loans.
Wow.
Unless the seller is going to pay it off with their equity. So it's just, I've never heard of anyone having a good experience with this. Never, never, never.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad they're getting rid of it.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Existing home sales.
Okay.
All right. Welp. All right.
Yep.
Existing home sales up 5.6% in November. So U.S. home sales increased more than expected in November, hitting their highest level in nearly 11 years. The latest indication that housing was regaining momentum after almost stalling this year. And I have to say the almost stall happened around the same time that the hurricanes did. So the National Association of Realtors said Wednesday that existing home sales surged 5.6% to an unseasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.81 million units last month amid continued recovery areas in the South ravaged by hurricanes Harvey and Irma. The highest level since December 2006. 2006 is a year I haven't heard in a while. So the highest level since December 2006, and followed an upwardly revised 5.5 million unit pace in October. So they revised the October numbers upward. Economists polled by Reuters had forecasted home sales rising 0.9% to 5.52 million from a previously reported 5.48 million unit pace. Existing home sales make up 90% of the U.S. home sales. They rose 3.8% on a year-on-year basis in November. So they're up 4% over last year. Here's a local report for us from Melanie. She said, in my market, Southwest Michigan, 17%. Even better.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. The hurricanes have had a negative impact on home selling, and then before you knew it, the hurricanes have actually, in a way, had a positive effect on the sale of homes, people moving around. There are a lot of investors that are buying up homes in the hurricane-ravaged areas, fixing them, reselling them too.
Yeah, and it also seems that, it's snapping back fairly quickly. With a lot of these reports, I feel like they would say, except for the hurricane ravaged areas. I feel like they're including it now. Like, this is including, and it's still getting better. People are still confident about markets. I think that's pretty solid. Yeah,
it's in 2006. I mean, that was one of my favorite vintages. I got involved in real estate in 2007. And we had an incredible 4 or 5 months before the entire market started to crash. And
Wow.
it actually leveled out for a while and was kind of the calm before the storm. And then in 2008, in our market, it was just started tanking. And that was in Northwest Arkansas. So 2006 were kind of the glory days of real estate when I saw what was happening. We marketed over 49 million in property that year with a whole bunch of different agents. I was helping them market properties before I became an agent myself. And that's kind of what got me into the business, which brings me back to a local news story that we don't have on here. There were 81 new agents join our board in a 2-week period and apply for their real estate license.
What is that as far as
December?
How is that for your board? Is that big? Is that little?
Super high. There's only about 2,000 to 3,000 people who are realtors in the entire Central Arkansas board, or in the entire Central Arkansas market. Yeah.
So that's a really good chunk. That's a
huge chunk. So I think the feeling in general is that real estate is going up. It's going places.
Yeah, and you still have the percentages of people that aren't going to stick, all that stuff. But I just, it's different in California because there's so many agents, and people almost just go, you know what, I'm also going to get my real estate license. And it's just so frustrating because that throws in so many crappy agents. I mean, I have just closed one really rough transaction because of the agent. We have one going right now that's going really well, and the agent's very communicative, but that is fewer and far between. So that part is way different in California. It's just so rough. But anyway, I could go on for that for hours. But I wanted to kind of drop in how we what was it, show 2 or 3, when we were talking about the transparency of letting us know that interest rates were going to go up in December.
Right.
And now we've also covered that doesn't affect just home buyers right away. It'll probably be 3-4 months before it affects those or makes those changes. But I feel like a little bit, because there's so much info out there and a lot of this info gets around, I feel like buyers are kind of, they want to make sure they're in, like if they're halfway or anywhere near close to being ready, they want to get ready, and they don't care if it's Christmas. They don't care if it's Thanksgiving. They want to buy.
Yeah. Hence why it's been so difficult for us to get together one of these shows or reschedule those shows, because we've both been super busy, unseasonably busy, I would say.
All right.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I think you're freezing.
Hi.
Am I freezing?
Yeah, no, you were, but I think we're good.
Okay. All right. You want to get to the next one?
Yeah. Who is that comment there?
Oh,
Is that
Jackie, that's great. Yeah, no one knows what it really takes until they start working. Yeah, and what we see is that most of them don't start working.
Just don't.
They lollygag around.
They just go, you know what? This is hard. This is really difficult. Those dudes on the Bearded Men of Real Estate podcast, they made it look so easy, but no, it's difficult. Really difficult.
Yep.
All right. You want me to move on?
Yep.
It says Dan. Do I read the Dan part? I always forget that.
You can.
Just kidding.
Dan Congress passes.
Yeah, Dan Congress. What? Who's Dan Congress? So this is a big one. Congress passes the tax reform, mixed blessing for real estate. So we spoke about it when it was first proposed. Now it's been passed, and we have the actual numbers, what it passed at. So things did change like we predicted. The reform package caps mortgage interest deductions for primary and secondary residences at $750,000. It was $1 million, or currently $1 million. It was proposed to be $500,000. So they've settled on $750,000, while capping state and local tax deductions at $10,000, and there's currently no cap, according to language in the new law. The provisions mark hard-fought compromises from earlier drafts of the bill that slashed the mortgage interest deduction in half to $500,000 and eliminated state and local deductions entirely. As for the real estate industry itself, the final legislation shines brightly on brokers and developers through changes to so-called pass-through entities like S-corps and LLCs, limited liability corporations. Under the newly enacted tax reform package, pass-throughs, often used by brokers and other real estate entities, would be locked into a 20% deduction, a substantial savings given that pass-through owners currently pay taxes on these profits through the individual income tax rate. The tax code revisions will now lower the corporate tax rate to 21% from a current rate of 35%. That's a big drop, effective next year. Meanwhile, top individual earners will inherit a tax rate of 37%, down from the present value of 39.6%. So go, Ray, go.
It's getting cold in here. I'm going to turn up the snow for this one.
I wish I could see it.
I wish you could see the snow effects. It's pretty fantastic.
I can't see it.
So, there's a lot of talk about this. I actually think it's a pretty good bill. In general, in my opinion, it's going to prevent some of the big mega loans from being so attractive because you don't get a full mortgage interest deduction. I think when people have actual equity in things, we're all better off when we have less debt and more equity. The $10,000 cap is interesting as well. So that basically says that you can't, if you have to pay $10,000 locally in your taxes, or let's say you have to pay $5,000 locally in your taxes, then there's $5,000 of that you cannot write off to lower your taxable income on the federal. And some people are going to say, well, that's a terrible thing. Well, it's a terrible thing if you live in an area that's taxed highly. But what it should do is get more attention called and paid to places that have lower taxes on property. Choo-choo. The tax train's coming. No,
that's it right there. It's going to get louder too, by the way.
So it also means for the tax code revisions, lowering the corporate tax rate to 21% from 35% should encourage spending on the corporate level. And then the top income tax earners go from 37% to 39.6%. Not terrible, because usually a top income earner has a way to create a pass-through income now. So they should, in most cases, be able to deal with a lower tax percentage, and it would encourage more corporate spending. And Jackie says our snow looks rad.
Snow looks rad. I saw that one. That's like when we were talking before we went live. Is it should hopefully loosen up money a little bit so it's not held on to, which is a good thing for economy. I worry what it's going to do to the little guy here and there. Because where I'm at, we have our state taxes is at 9% for just purchasing and things like that. So I worry what it's going to do for incomes under 50,000 and stuff. But I don't know. I struggle with it because it's that thing. How do you make everyone happy with such a broad stroke?
Yeah.
How do you cover this and cover that? If you say this one thing is bad, you also got to say, well, this one thing is really good. So You know, you can get into the whole 1% argument, and they're already getting away with murder. But this, I don't think this really affects that. I think it affects more of that kind of middle top earner, not the top earners, but the middle top earner, which might loosen things up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Because if they can spend more, so let's say there's a lot of people that think, oh, you know, right now I don't have any kind of S corporation or LLC associated with me. Maybe I should start one, and then that way I get some pass through income. It's also going to encourage them to spend money in that S corporation LLC in order to get additional write-offs, and the spending of money stimulates the economy. So if you don't change what you spend the money on, you still have to figure out a way to make more money. And the bet here is that they'll make more money on a stimulated economy from more people having more money to do something with. So we will see.
Yeah. Don't just start spending more money and not knowing what you're spending it on.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know. I like that they upped the mortgage interest. I thought 500 was a little low because, again, I'm in California and mortgages here get to 500 real quick.
Right.
And people can afford those. So I thought that was specifically for ours. Going to 750, to me, $1 million wasn't high or low, whatever, but 750 grand I think is a good middle ground, and it's exactly the middle ground.
They split the difference.
Exactly. So I think it's a good compromise specifically on that. And for my clients, you know, my average sales this year were 502,000 on the buy side and 512,000 on the listing side. So that wouldn't affect either. Yeah. So that wouldn't, and that's lower than usual years. So I just don't think it affects that much. Again, that 500 was right kind of around where my averages were, you know. So if you're going FHA, you're going to have over $500,000 mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Similarly, my average was 172, 180. Somewhere in that range, similarly.
Yeah, I mean, that's close. You know, it's, you know, you say potato, I say potato. That's right, it's right there. It's the same thing.
Sure.
So I would honestly hope that the discussion, I know because we don't have a ton of time live, both Ray and I have to run, but I would hope the discussion would go on our, you know, after the videos were done being live. I would hope that discussion would go a little bit.
I'd love to hear what other people have to say about the taxes, if they're a fan, if they're not a fan, why they aren't a fan, and not a political talking point. I really want to hear some. It's
not. I want to know why you're a fan. We want to hear why you're not a fan, but reasons why, because then we can all learn. And I think that this specific story is a learning topic we can all learn on. I mean, I was asking Ray quite, like, I was literally saying, I don't know what that is before we went on. And now I know, so I'm an expert when I get on air.
Yeah, he sounds awesome. I'm going to turn him into Milton Friedman before he knows it.
I don't even know who that is. No idea. No. All right, you want to go into the final thoughts and the pick of the week?
Let's do the pick of the week. All right. For the pick of the week, I'm going to give us each a Christmas frame. Are you ready?
I can see this. I can't see this. I'm ready.
I have to watch the show now for the first time. Ta-da!
Ever.
There's
by the way, so it does tell me when the broadcast was changed by host, but I can't see what you're doing.
That's right. I'm going to increase the snow too. There you go.
Yeah, you could be putting glasses on me and funny Groucho Marx mustache. All right, so for me, my pick of the week. There's a lot of talk. We talked about Zillow and what their impact on the market is. This isn't about their impact on the market, but this is more about lead gen because I've recently looked into it. Zillow is crazy expensive, and there's not a lot of zip codes available, but there's a lot of other options out there, and they're all pretty cool, and they don't kind of force you to pay for your own leads unless you're Ray, because Ray markets so well, he gets his own leads either way. But it does expose. So this is more about, and honestly, it's not necessarily if you're just getting online leads. If you just have a ton of leads coming in, however that is, this website, it's called Agentology. Agent, Ology, Agentology. It's specifically for follow-up. So any leads you haven't coming in, if you have one or two a week and you just can't get to them, or if you have 100 a week and you can't get to them, they will follow up within 5 minutes through a bunch of different contact points 24/7. So it's not lead generation, it's lead follow-up. And I thought it was really cool because it's not that controversial topic of, do I pay for leads online? No matter how you have leads coming in, this is there for you to help with the follow-up. And you can also set it up where you can do the original touch or the original reach out. It's always weird to say touch. And then they can, oh yeah. And by acknowledging it, I make it weird. So I just thought it was super interesting, real simple. Just look up agentology. I thought it was a cool thing to throw out there in case you guys hadn't heard of it. Maybe it'll work for you guys.
Very nice. Well done, Dan. Agentology.
Thank you. Agentology.
Yeah. Okay. So for my pick of the week, I'm going to do something a little more New Year's related. I think it's something that has helped me lately. So all right, I have to find my Christmas frame. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Well, there's a Santa Claus. Well, that one's cool.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I can't see it.
You can?
Yeah, I went to the share. I shared it and I muted it, so I can watch it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the. I like this one. Okay. So for my pick of the week, No Bull shoes. If you go to nobullproject.com, there's a special shoe made for something that I got involved with a couple of months ago, which may be a pick of the week in the future. CrossFit. And I've been doing CrossFit now for about 4 or 5 months. I'm kind of becoming one of those weird people that start to talk about CrossFit a lot. But these shoes are amazing. The first time you get them, it's like really, they're hard and stiff. But then I touched my friend's shoe who has one, and it's super pliable and soft. And it's really a great shoe for everything you're doing in CrossFit. If you're doing box jumps, burpees, whatever you're doing, lifting weights, it's like a good go-between. It's not a lifter, but it's pretty good for that too. So I've lost about 25 pounds in the last 5 months or so. 4 months.
Nice.
Yeah, 4 months. So I would strongly suggest both CrossFit. And if you do get involved in CrossFit, check out those Noble shoes. It's nobullproject.com. And that's
it's spelled. Is it spelled no B-U-L?
Yeah, it's like Noble, just the horns.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's their their slogan. They're cool. I got the Black Friday special, the all black ones, because it's cool.
And it's not necessarily
Hey Dan.
Hey Dan. That's a buddy of mine, a past client, now realtor.
Oh, cool. You made the job look too easy, see?
I know, it's that thing, man. And I hate doing it that way, but it's just my style. No, that's a really good pick, because I think it leads us to, because every week Ray and I kind of talk like, what's the pick going to be, or what's that, and what's your pick going to be. I think it's kind of cool if we can go outside of just real estate, because mine was a little motivational outside of real estate, my last one, but just other things that help your life at the core and at the foundation. And I think this really does, and it's really affected you apparently. So that's great. I love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, in any way that you can look better, you'll feel better. And so a lot of, I got to put it there. You go. How have you been? I can't wait to see the beard. If you grow your beard out, Dan, I'll let you on the show.
I love it. We're going to start doing that too. By the way, Dan,
it could be two Dans.
The two Dans.
Oh my goodness!
like the Zach Galifianakis show, Between Two Ferns, but between two Dans.
Between two Dans.
He does, and his wife, they do Corgi Beach Day. Just a little plug for them. I don't know how many times a year they do it. I think it's 2. Dan can correct me, but oh my god, it started with 7 corgis or something. Now it's like 1,000 corgis, and it's just the best event ever. It's so good.
So is it where you take a corgi, that's a dog, to the beach?
Yep, okay. And they're all dressed up in their in their little outfits. There's pictures. They get news coverage 3 times. There you go, 3 times a year. They get news coverage. I mean, Dan's on the news a few times a year. It's such a rad event. It's so cool, and it's all born out of the love for corgis. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little plug for Corgi Beach Day, buddy.
Oh, look at that. 15,000 people.
Holy cow.
And I guess 1,200 dogs. I was just about to ask how many dogs.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of the dog count, not the people count. That is amazing. So good.
People just check out the dogs.
Yep.
It's like it's
really
show.
Cool. Fun event.
Interesting.
Fun event. I'm almost thinking about getting a corgi just so I can do the event.
Well, you could always adopt one. Foster a corgi.
Yes.
You're welcome, Dan.
Of course, dude.
Well, thanks everybody for watching the show. I hope our 4 articles gave you a little insight into what's happening now as we head into the new year. Dan and I will both be enjoying a holiday next week. So we won't be on here until after the new year. So the first show after the new year, we plan to come back. We also have a logo. I don't know if you know it, but Dan is also a graphic designer, does incredible work. So we will have a logo. We'll have some, I'm really, really hoping to have some like music and sounders and all kinds of stuff too.
Yes.
So, but anyway, thanks everybody.
We may, sorry to interrupt, we may change the day, but we'll announce that. We'll go live before that just to announce the change, do a little quick live video to announce it or whatever. But we love all the feedback and we appreciate you guys watching and commenting.
Yep. Thanks everybody. And have a happy holidays.
Can I make a shot?
Oh yeah. So what's our deal? Are we doing oh, you missed. You totally missed. So we have a deal for every miss. What was it? $10 that you have to.
Yeah, but I shot it before we agreed on the deal. So
no, that was last week. All right, do it one more time. I'll give you one more shot. But here's the deal: if he makes it, I'm donating $100. If he misses, every time he misses, he donates 10.
Because I'm gonna miss a lot. It's gonna be $100 the next 10 shows. All right, I can't even see where I'm going.
That's terrible. All right, $10. There it is.
$10.
Right. Making money to feed people. There you go.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.